Good evening, everybody. This is George Fraser and Dr. Claude David Whitaker, Esquire, and we want to welcome everyone to this call. Those of you who are going on this incredible sojourn with us, and those who are seeking more information. We will have several people joining us who are interested in finding out more about this incredible trip. Currently on the call is Dr. Claude David Whitaker from Cleveland, Ohio, Ms. Glennis Thornton from Detroit, Michigan, Harry Campbell from New York City by way of Westchester and Brooklyn, New York, James Hardiman from Cleveland, Ohio, Emma Fraser Pendleton, my illustrious sister, from New York City, living in Queens, and William Byers from Los Angeles by way of Cleveland, Ohio. I hope I didn't miss anyone. I'm sure others will be joining us as the call progresses. Let me just give a simple outline of what we hope to achieve on this call and try to honor about a 60-minute commitment for the call so people can get back to their lives and eat their dinner and do the things that they do during either the afternoon or early part of the evening. I'm going to do a simple trip overview, which is really just a reading of the itinerary, the proposed 9-day itinerary from the beautiful flyer that you received on the Ghanaian VIP sojourn. And then once I do that, I'm then going to introduce my co-host for the trip, Dr. Claude David Whitaker. We're expecting Nana Duakwa to join us in the call from Ghana. He may be having some technical difficulties, but hopefully he will come with us sooner rather than later. And then Dr. Whitaker is going to give us some trip orientation so that we can prepare for the trip. And after he does that, we will answer any questions that you may have about anything, no holds barred. And then we'll conclude the call with the next steps, the things that we have to get done, because we're just 60 days away from this incredible trip, and it will go very, very quickly, especially with the holidays thrown in the middle of it. So let me begin by just reviewing with everyone, and I know that you've looked at this itinerary. But I just want to review it just to remind folks things may change a tad, but fundamentally this is pretty much the framework for how we're going to spend 9 incredible days together. On Friday, February the 8th, everyone will meet us at JFK Airport in New York City. We hope to leave JFK. We'll be looking at the various flight itineraries, but about 6 p.m. or so. And we'll go, it's a direct flight on Delta Airlines from JFK to Accra, Ghana. So that's basically day one. That will eat up our entire day and land us in Accra on day 2, which is Saturday. Where we arrive at Accra, Ghana, about 11 o'clock. We will check into the hotel. We'll have an orientation lunch, an afternoon city tour at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Art Center. There'll be some shopping. There'll be dinner and an evening orientation for the trip. That's on day 2. On day 3, which is Sunday, we'll have breakfast together. We'll depart Accra for the central region. We will visit the Cocoon Forest. We will lunch. We'll depart for the Cape Coast in the Elmina area and check in. There will be another orientation and some programming. There will be dinner, and then we will retire. On day 4, which is Monday, we will visit the Atonkwa village and have a reception. Dr. Whitaker, Claude David Whitaker, is a chief at the Atonkwa village. And so we're looking forward to that. There will be a program. We'll have lunch. We'll have the Cape Coast dungeon visit, and we'll have a debriefing at dinner. That's on day 4. There's some noise in the background, but if we can just
that's
start
me
fix
because
your
I'm.
phone. Okay.
Yeah, you good?
Okay. On day 5, which is Tuesday, we'll do a sunrise at the Elmina Dungeon at the Door of No Return. We'll visit a plastic recycling factory. We'll go to the Comenda beachfront. We'll have lunch and we'll relax on day 5. On day 6 will be a day of rest and reflection, some programming as well. On day 7, we will depart the central region. We will visit Kinte Village and a carving village, and we'll check in back at Accra, the main city, which we will be leaving from ultimately. On day 8, we will pack. We'll do some last-minute details. We'll have an airport check-in for departure to JFK in New York, and we will arrive back home at JFK about 11 o'clock for connecting flights to the various cities that we will be coming from. All of this, again, is listed and articulated on the flyer that everyone should have a copy of. If you do not have this flyer, please just email me at gfraser@frasernet.com, and I'll be sure to get you a copy of the flyer. Someone joined us on the call. Could you please give us your name? Someone joined us on the call. We have Dr. David Whitaker, Dennis Thornton, Harry Campbell, James Hardiman, Emma Fraser Pendleton, and William Byers. Is there someone I'm missing?
Yes, Dr. Alan Martin.
Dr. Ann Martin. Hi, Dr. Martin. How are you? And where are you from, Dr. Martin? What city are you from?
Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn. Oh, my goodness. We will have a cabal, a gaggle from Brooklyn. So far, there's 3 of us from Brooklyn. Where in Brooklyn are you from?
I'm actually from the Bushwick area, over in that area. That's where I'm pastoring. I met you at the IBW conference.
Oh, okay, great.
I'm the gentleman that you were outside with. We took the picture.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right. Well, welcome to the call. So that is sort of the...
Sophia Campbell.
I'm sorry, who else is on the call?
Sophia Campbell.
Cynthia Campbell?
No, Sophia Campbell, Harry
Campbell.
Campbell's wife.
Harry. So, okay, Sophia Campbell,
Yeah.
how are you?
Hi,
welcome
how are
to
you?
The call. Oh, wonderful. And blessings to you for marrying Harry. And
thank you.
sticking with him. I mean, he's from Brooklyn. I don't know. Did he ever tell you he was from Brooklyn? He's actually from Brooklyn. I know you guys live in Westchester. All right. So I didn't mean to break any silence there, but you just need to know. Great. Well, welcome to the call. Okay. So that's sort of the trip overview. And the trip, as everyone knows, is $4,999. It is, we consider this an investment, and an investment is something that you expect a return on. And what will be the return? I think it will be a life-changing experience. I have been all over Africa many times. I have not been to Ghana. I have not been through one of the slave castles or the Door of No Return. I have many, many friends, and of course my mentor, Dr. Whitaker, has been there many times, and from everyone, they say the same thing, that your life will never be the same if you have not visited the west coast of Africa in that way. It is a mind-boggling, life-changing experience. We picked Black History Month specifically to do this trip because you will be experiencing African history, Black history, live and in living color. And I'm extraordinarily excited about this trip. The many trips that I have taken, probably 16-plus trips to the continent, generally speaking, I have traveled speaking for one reason or another and have traveled by myself. And while it was beautiful and rewarding and profoundly interesting, there is nothing like sharing an experience like this with someone that you know, love, and care for. I think this is the kind of trip that needs to be a shared experience. And so I'm encouraging those of you that are going by yourself. Certainly you'll be with us, and I think you're going to be in great company. but if there's someone really close to you, if you can convince them to share this experience with you, I think you will appreciate it doubly. Now, let me just quickly and as formally as I can introduce a man that is extraordinarily important in my life. I met Dr. Whitaker sort of midway through life in my late 30s and early 40s, married. He was a family consultant or psychological family therapist is the word I was searching for, the term I was searching for. And as we were growing as a family, Jean and I've been with this same sister for 41 years, and you could imagine it. You either grow together, you grow apart, and if you grow together, it takes work. It takes many people to pour into your life to make things work. And we sought the support and the help of Dr. Whitaker when he had his family therapy practice, and he was just incredible. As we raised our two sons, we sought his advice and counsel in doing that, and he was incredible. His daughters babysat our sons on many occasions, so our relationships go back really a generation. He is one incredible human being, and essentially changed the trajectory of my life. I was smart enough to make a decision to go through his adult male Rites of Passage program many years ago, and that alone was a life-changing experience. And one of the influencing factors in writing my first book, Success Runs in Our Race, The Complete Guide to Effective Networking in the Black Community. And in that book, if you've read the book, you know that I talk extensively in the early parts of the book about that experience and talking about Dr. Whitaker. He has been a mentor of mine as well as a colleague and a very close friend. When he founded the Phoenix Village Academy, which is 3 African-centered charter schools, and asked me to serve on the board with him, and James Hardiman is on the call, I jumped at the opportunity to serve him in any way that I could. And if you could call certain people a fountain of information, then Dr. David Whitaker would be an ocean. And in order to truly appreciate the wealth of knowledge that he has to share, you just have to spend 2 minutes speaking with him, and you will feel infinitely smarter. And every time I engage him, I feel better, and I feel smarter. And so with that, I would like to introduce to you, to give us a trip orientation and to say whatever he wants to say, really, my very, very close, good friend, a man that I love. It's man love, Dr. David Whitaker, Esquire.
George, I appreciate that very glowing endorsement. You know that I feel exactly the same about all of the time that we have talked about things important to us, things important to our people, and most importantly, how we might do something about all the things that we might be talking about. So I couldn't exaggerate my agreement and underscoring everything you said about me is also a mutual feeling. What I want to say to all of the people online, on the phone, is that I am extremely gratified in anticipating this trip that we will be taking together. It's my understanding, and maybe it's an assumption too, that everyone that will be traveling together will be traveling to Ghana for the very first time. If that's not true, someone let me know that I'm in error. So hearing nothing to the contrary, I'm assuming that assumption is correct. If that is correct, what I would like to add to what George has said is that we have prepared an itinerary that will serve as a good skeleton for all of the things that we intend to do. And we have purposely left out some things or have kind of camouflaged them so that they will be revelation for the travelers, so that they're... Hello?
Hi, George. I'm just joining the call. I apologize. I'm listening.
No problem. So we have put some things in some coded language, if you will, so that it's there, but you're not aware of the full implications of what those words mean for your own experience. So there are two things that will be happening here that we are very much trying to orchestrate. I've been to Ghana about 30 times. So in the trips, we have myself and Nana Duakwa, who may actually join the call before we're off, have worked in a very methodical manner to provide some infrastructure that will help Western travelers to feel very comfortable in a visit to Ghana, and also at the same time to feel very much like they are residents of Ghana as opposed to being travelers or vacationers that feel somewhat isolated from the people in the experience that they usually get. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that for those people that will be traveling, given all of the preparation that has been made for you, this will be the most significant experience that you have ever had. And I'm saying that to also suggest that if there's anyone that you know that you might like to do something transformative with, and they have not already planned to go on this trip with you, please try to encourage them to reconsider that possibility, because unlike myself and George, there's a good chance that you will not go to Ghana 30 times after this trip. So this may be one of a small number of times that you travel here. So if there's someone that you are thinking of that you wish they could go, try to encourage them to do it now, because this will be a personalized and tailored experience just for you that would not be the kind of trip that might be organized for other people in the future. So with that said, I'd like to suggest how we're going to prepare ourselves. After the call, I'm going to secure from George all of your email information so that you can begin the full orientation process, so that two things can occur. One, I will be able to find out certain special things about each of you so that I can discuss that with Nana Aduakwa so that we can use that knowledge to even further personalize your experience. Second, we will provide you with some orientation material, some reading material, so that you will get yourself into the frame of mind so that this experience will be maximized based upon your readiness and preparation. We'll also use this time between now and departure to answer your questions, fill in blanks for you, there may be occasions where you will not be satisfied with the responses that you may get from me. If that's the case, I will say now, and I will remind you that there's certain things that you might want to know that we will not tell you because it will somehow diminish your awakening when you experience things. If we're told sometimes too much, our mind goes through the experience before we actually have the experience. And so then we've somehow diminished our own awakening or awareness because we've already been thinking along the line. So there may be things that I will say, I can't tell you that, or I won't tell you that. It's not because we don't know, but we don't want to in any way diminish what might be your own awareness and realization as uncolored by my response to a question that you might have asked. So if you have that feeling, it's somewhat intentional, but it's not to hide things from you. It's to make sure that nothing that is said to you in any way lessens the experience that you actually have. And there are so many things that are available to us and to you that you can realize your own development and your own aha moments, that we don't want to take any of those away from you. So, but we will try to give you all of the information that we can that we think is appropriate and not in any way running the risk of minimizing your experience. But we've talked about this. Nana Duakwa and I have talked about this trip for about 3 years in hopes that one day this trip that is planned now will take place. And so we are so excited. We've gone through all of the elements to this, either on our own or with other groups of people, but not with this group at the time that we're going to do it. So we are ecstatic about the upcoming February trip with each of you, and I am confident, if not absolutely certain, that you will look back on this as the most meaningful experience that you had, and you'll remember all of the people that you had it with, because we will make sure of that. So, George, unless there are specific questions for me, I think I should probably stop right there.
Yeah, we're going to have a Q&A in a moment. I just want to take inventory again because several people came on the line. We have you, Dr. Whitaker, Dennis Thornton, Harry Campbell, Sophia Campbell, James Hardiman, Emma Fraser Pennington, William Byers, Ann Martin, Dr. Ann Martin, and is there? Am I missing someone?
Yes, L.J. Holloway is on the line.
L.J. Holloway.
Correct.
Okay, and where are you from?
I'm from Jacksonville, Florida.
Where are you from?
Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, Jacksonville, Florida. Okay. All right. Anybody else on the line that I didn't mention? Okay. So this is the moment in time in the call to answer any questions, concerns, insights that you need that are revealable per Dr. Whitaker's description. So let's just open it up for questions. Let me just start with this, and maybe some questions will come out of this. Everyone will have to have a visa. And we do have the forms and so forth that you can fill out for your visa if you have not already started the process. I sent mine in the other day. It takes a couple of weeks. You will have to send off your passport with a self-mailer to get your passport back to the Ghanaian embassy in Washington, D.C. Of course, unless you live in Washington, D.C., you can take it there. So visa and making sure also that you have an up-to-date passport. There will be immunizations required as well. So let's just open it up for questions. Any questions?
It was my understanding that you send the passport along with your paperwork.
Yes.
You send.
That's right. That's
okay.
Exactly right.
I thought you said it separate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, if you're in Washington D.C., you probably can take it to the Ghanaian embassy in Washington if you want to. But I don't know if anybody on this line is from Washington D.C. So right. So you have to send it. That's right.
Okay, and also there's no need for a rush. We can just send the regular $60.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No need for
Okay.
a rush. If you do it now, it'll save you some money, and it's a pretty simple process. They make it pretty easy. I have 2 visas from Nigeria, and it was hell. Getting them cost me $700, and I had to have an agency.
Wow.
That's how complicated and crazy it was trying to get a Nigerian visa. So that is not the case in Ghana. It was very simple in South Africa as well. Any other questions?
And we have to send a self-stamped envelope, you said, in order to get our passport back?
That's right, and make it first class. And if I were you, this is what I did. I would send your visa, and when you fill out the forms, I would send it FedEx or UPS, so don't send it regular mail. Have a receipt.
You're talking about the application and our passport, correct?
That's right.
Okay, first class. Okay.
Yes. Which vaccinations are we going to have to get before going to Ghana?
You'll need, George, did you send the little packet that I had sent to you? I think you sent it out, but I don't know if everybody saw
I did. I don't know if everybody
Okay.
got it. If you don't have it, I'll be more than happy to send it to you tonight before
We'll
we leave
send
the
it back.
office.
No. The only thing you actually need, even though your travel agencies or hospital travel departments will suggest a lot of immunizations, but the only one you actually need for the visa is yellow fever.
Okay.
So we would recommend only getting what you need. You won't be traveling to any remote or what we call bush areas where you're likely to encounter all of these other potential problems. But
also,
you have to have yellow fever.
That we got the immunizations.
Say that again?
Will we need to bring proof to show that we've gotten all the immunizations that we're going to need?
Yeah, I always take mine with me, but they've never asked to see it. But I can imagine eventually there will be that one occasion where you wouldn't have it and someone would want to see it. So I always take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how far in advance do we need to get that shot?
I would try to get that shot as soon as you can after this call.
Oh.
So you can get the shots. Usually at the travel clinics, you can get the shots, a week before you travel. The reason I would say get the shots sooner is to determine whether or not you may have some reaction to the immunization.
Right.
That you wouldn't want to have if you were getting on the plane the next day.
I see.
So since everybody's different, you could have some reaction of some nausea, sleepiness, drowsiness, muscle pains or something. You just don't want to start traveling with anything other than perfect health when you leave.
Oh, okay.
Right. And
So
most
this would
travel
be...
clinics would advise you to get them certainly a couple of weeks before, so the bacteria that they put into you have a chance to get into your body. And of course, if there's a reaction, but even if there's no reaction, you want the whatever they put into you, you want it to be fully distributed in your system and ready to fight off anything if anything should happen. So I would do it as soon as humanly possible. Get
Are
it
there
behind
any
you.
travel clinics in New York City area or like in the Bronx maybe?
Oh yeah. Oh, they're all over the place. They're little clinics that specialize in just travel immunizations. That's what I went to here in Cleveland.
Okay.
So I know if it's in Cleveland, they're all over. Just
I
Google
think the important thing to remember is what Dr. Whitaker said. Do not let them give you the whole shebang. I had a friend that did that. They paid over $400, and they did not need all those shots.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, only get the, you need
Yellow
two
fever.
things, actually. You need yellow fever, and you need something. We always take tablets for the potential of malaria. Because even though we won't be traveling in what you would consider a malaria malaria season, but there's mosquitoes, and so we always I take Lariam tablets that you just buy I get them from Kaiser now, but you can get Lariam tablets. I take the protocol that you take one tablet a week, so I need 3 tablets generally. One a week before I travel, one during travel if it's for a week, and one the week subsequent to the travel. So you need 3 tablets. So if you forgot and didn't do it, you could get Lariam tablets in Ghana at the local pharmacy too.
Okay.
But that wouldn't give you any Lariam protection prior to the trip. So then we would be leaving something to chance that really shouldn't be left to chance. So those are the only 2 things you really need.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Question as far as the detail on what they asked on the application, is that going to be in the packet that you're going to be sending?
Yeah. It's all right there.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Was that you, Harry?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you did you get the package? Because I sent it out last week. You didn't get it?
I did not see it. I'll look again.
Okay.
But
I'll send. Does anybody else need it? I'm going to put a little check mark next to Harry. Hmm?
You mean the
information
that was attached to the email?
Yeah, the information. Yeah, no, not the little packet that I sent out today. That was the some information about Ghana that Dr. Whitaker prepared. No, this was a week or so ago, and it said a visa form on it.
Oh yeah, I got that.
George, I just sent you an email.
But I don't think I saw the information like where they asked for the details as far as where you're going to be staying and those types of things. That's the part I didn't get.
We can provide all of that after the call. I can send an email. Everyone can use the same addresses and contact information because I know where we'll be staying, and we can all just put that on fill in those spaces on the application that correspond to what we'll be doing. So that's going to be easy.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Now, the cost of our trip includes the round trip to and from Ghana, but we have to pay separate to get to New York, correct?
That's correct. And by the way, AirTran just came out with an $89 one-way. They fly into LaGuardia. You'd have to take a cab from LaGuardia, but there's some bargains right now on the internet. $89 one way. So just check it out and see get the best deal you can.
Mm-hmm. And the money order that we're going to make out for our visa, do we make that to the Embassy of Ghana? Is that who the money order is made out to?
I believe it is. I believe, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mr. Fraser?
Yes.
Yes, the $1,900 covers what? Airfare and what else? What?
You mean the $4,999?
Okay, what's the total price?
The total price is $4,999, which includes your round trip ticket from JFK to Ghana and back, obviously. Hotel. Meals. I don't believe it's all the meals, but it's most of the meals. It's a lot of. David, is it breakfasts? And a dinner? Yeah.
The ground transportation, any fees for activities, all of the things that we've planned that are not literally spelled out on the itinerary are included as well. There's lots of activities that we have planned for you that are all included.
Right. Basically, the money that you will, out of your pocket, beyond the $4,999, are going to be things that you'll purchase, gifts and things from the country. But there shouldn't be very much, if any, beyond that.
Thank you.
I hear a noise. Is anybody hear a noise?
Yeah,
I hear.
Yeah, I'm on my way to Kent State for a program, so I'm in the car. That's my car making that noise.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Any other questions?
No, there isn't. There aren't.
No other questions.
Oh, what type of food? What is the food in Ghana? If you're vegetarian or vegan, what is the food and what is their?
Well, they don't have vegan restaurants like you might be used to, but we can certainly plan around your needs wherever we're going, so that you won't be stuck. But it wouldn't be a bad idea, and we'll talk about all of this individually or collectively if we need to before we travel. It's not a bad idea to bring things with you that you might be able to prepare also if you have some special dietary desires that may not be readily available.
Okay.
I always take soups that are easy to prepare, or snacks, or things that you won't be able to get, or you won't be able to get when you're most hungry, like after dark, and you're not going to run to the corner store or something. You're not going to go to the kitchen.
Right.
When you say soups, when you say, Dr. Whitaker, soups, is there facility in the room to heat it up, or in the hotel, like if you bring packaged soup?
Well, most things now can accommodate those. I usually have also cup of soup kinds of arrangements that if I had hot water, I would be good to go. But the amenities are much, much nicer now, and most of what you might want to do, we can prepare or plan for it. That's part of why we will spend a considerable amount of time getting to know at least myself and each of you, what kinds of things you need or desire, so that we can plan accordingly, so that it will be as comfortable and easy as possible.
And what is the main food there?
Well, their main food is rice. Most people eat rice every day, with some combination of rice and fish, rice and beans, rice and chicken. I eat fish every day when I'm there. I like their fish. Then they have kind of American salads, and French fries, yams. And then they have all the traditional dishes that I don't particularly have a taste for most of them, but a lot of people like them. I haven't developed the kind of taste buds that I like too much of the traditional Ghanaian food. But they have Chinese restaurants now, just like we have here in the States. And the food is exactly like it. It tastes exactly like the Chinese restaurant, your favorite Chinese restaurant in New York or Florida or whatever wherever they have those two. So over the last 15 years, the development has been unbelievable. So the trips now, you're not going to be roughing it going to Ghana. That's not the experience you'll have.
Right.
All right.
Any other questions?
I'm sorry. Yes, I have a question. This is L.J. Holloway in Florida. What star accommodations does this trip provide?
Well, you would probably describe these accommodations that you're going to, well, now I'm going to tell you some things I wouldn't tell you. So your question is robbing you of part of your experience right now. So let me just say you will have accommodations that you would consider as 4-star if you were here in the States. But the scenery is likely to be 1,000 times better. So I don't know how you would evaluate or.
I've been to the continent, and so I'm looking forward to the experience.
Yeah. So let me not steal your experience by telling you too much about your accommodations. Okay. But you won't be camping, in a wilderness area. That you definitely will not be doing. So,
now, if we don't if we don't take the malaria tablets, should we get a shot?
Well, I don't think they have. I don't know if I've never had a malaria shot.
Okay.
But I would get. There's two forms of tablets. Either the weekly tablet, which I usually take because I forget, or they have a protocol that's a daily tablet, which obviously is less potent because you have to take it each day. So you could do the daily regimen or the weekly regimen, which I do simply because I get busy and I'll forget to take the tablets altogether. So one a week is easy for me. But that's a personal choice. If you're conscientious and you know you'll do it, either one it gives you the same kind of protection. So
I don't know if William Byers is still on the line. William, are you still on the line?
Yeah. I'm still here.
William is a videographer, cinematographer, and has done a lot of our work at FraserNet and telling our story in video, and he will be traveling with us, and we'll be documenting the entire experience to ultimately end up with a film about this experience. And so I just wanted everybody to know that. We're not going to make a reality show out of it. I'm not saying that. Right?
Oh, shucks.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be Harry's Big Adventure in Africa. Harry, I'm sorry. You know. But William is just one of those fine artists and creative types who's traveled all over the world and actually did the official film for the Martin Luther King Memorial, beautiful film that he has done. So I just want everybody to know that. Maybe I should have listened to Dr. Whitaker. Probably should not have shared that, but that's going to be a special experience to be able to reflect back on this forever and to have it documented by a first-class artist on film. I just want to thank you.
Since you brought that up, George, just for everybody on on this conference call, when you go into these countries and they do put it right on your visa, I don't tell them I'm a filmmaker because they take you through a lot of changes. I'm just a tourist with a camera to do it because they know you're filming it. So I kind of do it undercover. So I'm just with the group and we're documenting what we see, okay?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so everybody, you got
people
that?
Tell somebody, oh, he's a filmmaker, and I have to be downtown at this police station explaining it.
Right. All right, so everybody on this call, you got that right. He's an undercover brother, right? Undercover brother. Right? In case anybody should ask.
We're going to take professional
actually,
stuff,
George, that raises another question. Well, first of all, you rest comfortably. You won't have any problems filming anywhere.
Okay.
So that's easy. But if it's going to be documented, it tells me that we should probably find out if there's anything that you need that we could help facilitate to maximize the final result. Because the way we set this up, this will be could be a very, very special documentary.
I was going to talk to you personally about that. I was going to talk to you because we do need a shot sheet of the itinerary, a shot sheet of what we're doing to follow, so we can create a story. And so I was going to talk to you personally about that.
Yeah, so we will. That's something we'll need to do, and I guess you'll need to get your releases from all of us for whatever might be done. But that makes it even more exciting because we know the kinds of things that will be done, and if they were put to kind of a video with the proper cinematography, this could be a very, very special finished product. There's no question about that. Mm-hmm. So we will follow up. When I get the email addresses, one of the things I will do, if George hasn't already done it, is to leave my phone number so that if there are individual questions that come up, you can call me. If there are things that I need from each of you, I'll feel free to call you, in addition to whatever group information is going out. So I will develop my own understanding of what the individual needs are and how we can make this as personal for everybody as well as impactful for all of us together.
It's one of the reasons we wanted a small. It's one of the reasons we wanted a small group. We wanted a more intimate, personal experience. It's very difficult to do that with, 150, 250 people. You spend most of your time in logistics, in moving people and getting them on and off of buses, and it's just this is a different kind of experience, designed purposefully this way. And then we add the filming experience with it. You're going to end up with something, an experience that you will be able to show and tell and remember, again, for the rest of your life. It will just add value to the whole experience. Dr. Whitaker, I want to ask you a question for everyone. Should we bring an African gown or outfit if we have one? A lot of the ladies, I know I had one made by Neva, beautifully done. Or should we should we bring something for a special day or moment, or is all that stuff available? Obviously, it's all available there. But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, what most people do, myself included, many of the things that everyone will ultimately buy things. It's because it will be irresistible. So you'll end up buying things. If there's one thing that you have that you could bring, I would say that you may not purchase if you have something that's all white. Mm-hmm. You might bring that with you because that will be something that you will actually need for some of the things that we will do. It doesn't have to be expensive. Just as long as it's all white. It could be an all-white dress for a lady. It could be white shorts for a man, a nice white T-shirt. So it doesn't have to be expensive. But all of these things we would talk about. But I wouldn't suggest if you have an African garb that you like, certainly you could bring that with you. It won't be something that you couldn't get. You will see everything you have. You will see thousands of times over as you move around. So you can always get it. So you wouldn't have to bring something with you. But if you have something that you like, then certainly you could bring it, and it will certainly fit right in.
The temperature will be
in the 80s. Yeah.
The temperature will be the 80s, 90s.
Ooh.
Right.
So there's two things, right? There's two things you could do to get prepared in addition to what we've talked about. One is if you are not that active, it will be a good idea to begin to do some walking. Because one of the things that gives people trouble is the temperature and the fact that you do walking in 80-degree weather. You can walk in 80-degree weather, and doesn't take too long before you're exhausted or dehydrated. So if you could begin to get some exercise now, the walking that you do wouldn't limit your experience if you get tired.
And bring caps and hats. Bring caps and hats too. Right.
Right. Bring things for sun. You can get these things there too. One of the things you can't get easily, so you have to have this with you, is sunscreen. So bring sunscreen. The higher the level of protection, the better. Some people burn quickly and others burn less quickly. But the sun can be intense. So you are going to Africa, and you're going not too far from the equator. So keep that in mind. The other thing that will make your trip easier and more rewarding is if you could begin to get into your mind right now. This is going to sound obnoxious perhaps, but to get in your mind that you're going to do anything that I ask you to do. You're not going to complain about it. You're not going to ask too many questions about it, because everything is designed to give you an awakening to yourself. And so if you try to transform every comment into a Western frame of reference, you're missing the whole point of the trip. So you have to try to get yourself prepared to go with the flow, follow directions, because no one wants you to do anything that is going to be harmful. No one is going to ask you to do anything that's not for some specific reason. And the reason 99% of the time will be so that you can appreciate the experience that you're having much better. Sometimes we take people to Ghana, and they are spending all of their time trying to somehow convert their experience into a comparative to Disney World, or to the last time they went to the casino, or the last time they went to someplace else. But this is not that kind of experience. So that's why we say it goes much better if you just follow the direction and have your own experience in the context of the larger experience. So those are two suggestions that will really increase the likelihood that this is a trip that we know it will probably be.
Okay, we're at that time.
So
if there are no
I
more questions, is there another question? Sure.
About the attire, because you know how ladies are. So, are you what kind of walking shoes would you recommend for us?
Tennis shoes or sandals. You have athletic shoes, certainly not high heels. You don't need any high heels. Athletic shoes will be perfect. If you like to walk in sandals, it's great too. I wear sandals or tennis shoes most of the time. Okay. The reason I change from sandals at times is because the sun starts to burn my feet. Because the sandals, your part of your foot is exposed. If you wear a fully covered sandal, or you don't, you're not too bothered by the sun, then it's not a problem. But I wouldn't feel there's a need to have anything beyond sandals and tennis shoes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'm good.
No other questions? Okay.
George, one final thing.
Sure.
Once we have the email communication going, feel free to email me anything that you think of that you didn't mention on the call, or you didn't mention some other time, or the question wasn't responded to your satisfaction. Don't hesitate to ask questions, because it's just going to make it more likely that everybody is in the mental frame of mind, that they're comfortable. You're going someplace you haven't been, but I've been there 30 times. But my experience there doesn't necessarily provide the comfort for you that will give you ease that this is going to be great. So don't agonize about something that you could simply ask about. So most questions can be answered unless we feel like it's something that you want to really discover yourself. So don't feel like you're imposing or you're being annoying. If you get annoying, I'll tell you that you're annoying. Stop.
I have a question. It may really seem strange, but I want to ask it before we get there. I don't know whether it's urban legend or whatnot, but do they look at their very fair-skinned brothers, like George, not like the rest of us, with any kind of disdain or whatnot? Is that how do they reconcile? We all coming back as to the motherland, and we look like we've been on ice.
Yeah. Now here's the challenge about that. Most of the people living there now know nothing about really. Slavery is like a mythological tale to them. So they don't really know our experience at all. So what they recognize is that we look different than they look. So they know we are foreigners. So their perception of us as foreigners is based a lot on skin color. They recognize you are different from them. The lighter your skin, the closer you are to white people that they have had some encounters with. And most of their encounters with whites, these people have been positive because whites have money. They know we have money too. Compared to them, we are wealthy people. And many of them are trying to get in your good graces in hopes that you will share some of your wealth with them. But these are extremely friendly people. They are extremely generous people. They're honest people. And they are very excited about your presence in the country. So you will have, now there are there's certain people that are more aware. And, they're like people any place else. Depending upon the experiences that they've had, they may sound like they're being critical of you and they don't know you. But that's very, very minor in terms of the prevailing overall perception of the people in Ghana. So now I've just learned recently, I've been there 30 different times since 1992, but I've just recently learned, say 5 or 6 years ago, that in school as students they were taught that their ancestors, travel is not a new concept to African people. African people have traveled since the beginning of time and populated the entire planet. But what they were taught in school in Ghana anyway, because the prevailing educational model has been that of the British. So English is the national language now, taught in all schools. I just recently learned in conversation that what they were taught in school is that your ancestors went away to work and they did very well and they abandoned you because as you know, they never returned. So they have been sold a bill of goods in school that their ancestors abandoned them and went to other lands and did very well and never returned and never attempted to assist them in any way. And they have just struggled in their condition, which would be a very difficult thing for people to reconcile in the context of the culture. No one would do that. So that's been their view, because that's what they've been taught. And we've been taught that African people don't like us. That's not true either. So I think one of the things you will experience is this very genuine feeling of being happy to see you and being eager to talk to you and participate in things that you might be suggesting or doing. Our challenge is to be humble and recognize that we're going to a place where they have a lot to offer us, albeit not much in a material sense, but in terms of how to be civil, how to be cooperative, how to be caring, how to share, and how to be happy and content with the circumstances that you have to deal with, and at the same time, do everything you can to improve yourself. You will see no people that are depressed, and they may only earn $100 a year, but you won't see any symptoms of depression. You won't see any signs of people that are hopeless and helpless, and we can learn a lot from this experience because we're in the land of opportunity and wealth beyond imagination, and we're surrounded by deceit, jealousy, hopelessness, despair, depression, crime. None of those things are going to be things that you see. And part of what you're going to realize is that there's become a burning question of how could people that have so little not exhibit the signs and symptoms that we see all day, every day, nor do they have the crime and the drugs that we see every day. And so it becomes a real challenge to us to learn and find out what is the answer to some of these questions, and that's what we will see.
Wow.
Okay, can I make one statement to what he just said? I just left Brazil down in Salvador for a month, and they would not even take money from a black person unless they earned it.
Mm-hmm.
And they are so fascinated with Obama because you're
Right.
American. Obama has become president. They think it's the greatest thing since the guy in Egypt.
Anwar Sadat.
I mean, yes, they are just they know you're American, and they're just so proud that a black person can run America. It just tripped me out, and I was trying to give people money, and they wouldn't take it, not from me, unless they earned it.
I don't know if it's the case right now, but to give you an example of that, during Obama's first election, there were giant posters of Michelle and Barack all over Ghana. The posters were like the jumbotrons that we see all over the country. So that's not far from the sentiment that takes place in Ghana and probably every other African nation as well.
Wow.
Well, it will be a wow. It will be a wow 9 days. It'll be a wow 9 days because we will be immersed in an experience that we will all, with the exception of Dr. Whitaker, experiencing for the first time in our lives. We will be with a group of incredible individuals. Every one of you, if you were to read the resumes of each and every one of you, it reads almost like who's who in Black America. And so that gives us 9 days to bond and to make friends for a lifetime. So to share this experience, and then it will be wow because it will all be documented. And it will be part of our remembrance and something we can pass on to our children and maybe rekindle the idea in our people. And I'm being generous here when I use the word rekindle. In our people that like our Jewish brothers and sisters, there should not be a black person in America that does not have this experience as part, be it male or female, as part of their rite of passage.
George, can I know you know what you're talking about, but this has been on my mind, and I didn't ask it, along with that asking brother question. Is there a Dr. Whitaker, this is addressed toward you. I myself personally would like to have some type of rite of passage. I know it can't be long and extended, as a African coming home to memorialize the reconnection with my ancestors. Is there any
Emma, Dr. Whitaker is not going to answer that question.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you. Okay.
I'll just speak for him.
Okay.
He's not going to answer that question.
No, I got my answer.
We're not going to answer that, but I will
I
suggest
got my
this
answer.
to you. I'll suggest to you that everybody on the call, your trip is starting right now.
Yeah, Gary said this was interesting.
Your trip is starting today.
Okay.
So you can characterize the total experience however you would like, but it's beginning with this call.
Absolutely.
All right, I got it.
And so we're going to get all of you off this call because there are too many smart people on this phone call, too smart for your own damn good.
Okay.
We're asking all of these deep questions. And we have more answers than you have questions. But we're just not going to give you those answers.
I got my answer. I only looked dumb.
Right. So, all right. So we agree the next step is get your visa.
Yes.
Get your visa. Make sure your passport is legal and up to date. Get your visa. If there's someone special in your life that you want and believe, as Dr. Whitaker said, that should share this experience, this transformative experience with you or for themselves, then do them a personal favor and find a way to convince them to come with you. they will not regret it. It'll be the best investment they will have made.
Okay.
Whatever age they are in. Okay. All right. So that's our story. We're sticking to it. There'll be a couple of more calls prior to our departure in mid-February. We've got Kwanzaa coming up in the next couple of weeks. Immerse yourself in the whole idea of what Kwanzaa is and what it's about. We are also going to be sending you a book written by Dr. Whitaker on Rites of Passage. You'll be getting that in the mail. That's on us. As soon as we nail down the final team and community of brothers and sisters that will be taking this trip.
And how many women so far in the trip? There's 3 women. There's 3 of us.
It's let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now there's 4 women. 1, 2, 3.
Add 2 more to that. My mother
4.
and myself. It'll be 6.
Right. Oh, okay. So it'll be 6 women, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 men right now. So there's yeah.
Awesome.
So our goal is we're capping it at 15 people, so that we can keep the experience intimate, and so we have room for 3, 4 more people.
3 people. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Okay. There's 15 people, excluding your co-host and host David and myself.
Okay.
So
at max it'll be 17.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be 17
at max.
But the experience will be with 15. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So this is exciting.
Yes.
And everybody have a blessed holiday. And any questions? Dr. Whitaker told you what to do. Don't hesitate. Don't be shy. Ask us anything you want to know. We truly appreciate you. We love you. And this again, think about this.
May I end the call on this note?
Sure.
Dr. Whitaker, when I get my African name, don't make it too long because it's too hard to spell.
It won't be too long.
Okay.
Okay.
They don't have names that are too long.
Are you
That's
kidding
right.
me?
Right. No. You remember, African names have meaning, right? Have meaning. Now, do you know what Emma means?
Yes, it means healer.
Does it? Okay. All right.
Yep.
Great. All right. Now, George is farmer. It's Old Greek for one who cultivates the soil, and Fraser is Old English for strawberries. So my name means strawberry farmer. And so, Emma, you are a strawberry healer. Okay. All right, that's it. All right, everybody. Good night. Good
night.
Great call.
Good night.
Appreciate
Okay.
you. Thank you. All right. Good
Great.
night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Fantastic. Good night.